All right. I caught John mid-hair whip. All right, this is recording number one. I'm gonna minimize OBS because that's not gonna go in here. Ooh, I don't want to hit was. I'll put it like right there. Cool. All right. So we are gonna take a look at three articles of FUD. This is just gonna be a casual talk between us three. As for introductions, you guys might know or might not already know. We are three guys that form the Blockchain Musketeers, a content creator group surrounding itself in the blockchain world. My name is John. We have two other guys on the line. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, starting with John Wang.
I am also John. Um, yeah.
Hey
Cool.
guys, I'm Willis.
All right. Sweet. All right, let's get started. So this is gonna be a casual talk. There's three interesting piece of news slash FUD that's coming out lately, and every single one of them has caused quite the stir in the market. We're gonna first take a look at the Google FUD, and this is an article on CNBC. And a disclaimer: we are not, you know, left or right or middle or whatever. We are just grabbing news articles from whatever is at the top of search engines. So we have one for CNBC, The Verge, and Investor Place. Three very diverse winged news outlets. All right, so we'll do a rough summary first. Um, we'll start with the Google one. So one, Google will ban all cryptocurrency related advertising. The company will no longer allow ads about cryptocurrency related content, including initial coin offerings, ICOs, wallets, and trading advice across any of its ad platforms. The move follows a similar ban by Facebook earlier this year, which also caused quite the stir. What do you guys think about this?
I think
Um,
I'll start first. I
yeah,
think it started first with Facebook. You know how they started banning ICOs and the mention of Bitcoin on Facebook back in January. I feel
Mhm.
like that kind of caused a whole flood, and especially it happened right when the dip of the all times high back in January. And yeah, moving on to that, now that Google's out, it's just kind of reinforcing this bear market effect that we're gonna have. And yeah, John, do you want to elaborate on that?
yeah. See, I don't know if this is even like a good move for Google. I think it's the fact that the general public perceives crypto as bad because now we're in like a low. It's like, oh, we're in a bubble. All right. ICOs themselves have a bad name because a majority of them are not legit. A lot of them are money grabs. And you hear a
Mm-hmm.
lot of ICOs come out like, oh, this one's another scam. This is another scam. So I think that's why Google and Facebook are trying to take actions because they don't want their customers getting scammed, and they take some of the heat from that, right?
Mhm.
Well, I mean, look at what BitConnect did. They started
BitConnect.
at
They connect.
BitConnect. Dude,
BitConnect.
long live that meme.
I Yeah, dude. I mean, it started at 16 cents and back in what March 2017,
Oh
and
my
then
god.
it exploded up to 437 back in December 28, and now it's at $1.36. Like, I can't believe this is even trading.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's still trading. I guess people are like, buy the dip. Buy the dip.
Buy the bit. Buy the
There's
bit.
no dip for BitConnect. I'm sorry. But I don't know. I think they could buy. They should ban ICOs. But I don't know if they should ban everything related. Like wallets
Yeah,
or
Mm.
I
trading.
knew they banned ICOs, but including wallet and trading advice across any of its ad platforms. So technically, I mean, this video is gonna go on YouTube, and YouTube is owned by Google, which is so it's like, are they gonna take down all the TA videos on YouTube as well? Because right now there is a lot of videos like, oh, will Tron hit $1,000 per year, or will Link explode in Q2? Like
Right.
that's a very like small but relevant related blockchain content creator group out there, and like there's a lot of videos related to that. And of course, they're just regular human beings like me and you who are just generally interested in blockchain, um, are they gonna, you know, ban that? That's interesting to see that.
But I
Yeah.
mean, you see what they say is cryptocurrency related contents.
Right.
So, does that mean any video, even informative, like, oh,
Mhm.
what is the blockchain or what is cryptocurrency? Like,
Right.
it's just censoring everything, right? Which
Mhm.
is not, I don't know, it's not ideal. It's just because it has a bad name right now, right?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know why blockchain is so powerful. They're just like, oh, it's a scam, it's a Ponzi scheme. But no, blockchain is actually like a viable technology.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of everyday people kind of just believe the few huge names out there, like look at Hagen. He first started off making a bunch of money, putting out some TA, and then
Mhm.
in the beginning it did come true. And after it didn't, people were calling him out on his shit. And it's like, yo, why is this guy still getting paid $400,000 each article when he's
Mhm.
kind of just whipping something out of thin air? And yeah, there still are revenues out there where content creators and people who want to make TA can exist
Mhm.
without Google. It's just going to be a lot harder for them to, you know, gain an audience and whatnot.
It's
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
interesting to see that. Oh, like when I first heard of this news, I personally thought that it it isn't a big deal, but
mhm.
I realized, I mean, we had this conversation before, like for me to learn about an ICO or something, I'm not gonna Google ICO. I'm gonna look at different projects. I'm gonna go to their website. I'm gonna read their white paper. I'm gonna look at the KYC process. I'm gonna look where their team's located, where's their company registered and things like that. I'm not gonna just Google like hot upcoming ICOs 2018, and of course
Mm-hmm.
like I'm gonna get bombarded by websites with really good SEO techniques to make their page rank algorithm like way up. But I could see why that would be a very very costly or not Ponzi, but like a scheme tactic because like I could copy and clone a website and just change a few things and like within the like and so every website has its own SEO mechanism. And if I literally dump all cryptocurrency related, tags, of course that'll show up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just weird because then like I think we're starting to move into like this gray area. Like if Google wants to ban trading advice, wallet information, and ICOs, I mean, if you look at all the like traditional stocks, like all the FUD there, I don't know. I still think crypto FUD is nowhere near regular stock FUD. Like
Mm.
like you have like I feel like for one FUD of a crypto project, you have like 100 articles across like a bajillion traditional stock website investor tips, whatever, about is AMD gonna blow up because crypto's blowing up, or Facebook data breach, like pros and cons, buy now or no sell, or I don't know. I personally wasn't. I didn't think that this would be a big deal, but it obviously was, and yeah.
I feel like this kind of differs from stocks. How, like, you're right, stocks has a bunch of bears and bulls, and then for every bullish article there's going to be a bearish article. But I think because crypto's so young
Mhm,
that it's a wild, wild west out here, and
mhm,
every good news or bad news can greatly affect the price of
mhm,
crypto and just the future outcome of what society sees them as.
mhm,
And to be honest, like, to see bad news after bad news and maybe a good news of, Ethereum developers, they successfully tested plasma or something,
mhm.
like, that good news will get ignored and it'll just be all the bear news, which throws us into a bear market.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm. I think it is the point that people are actually looking for like a finger to point, because
Mhm,
normally with traditional stocks, you see like an article, you take it with a grain of salt. But over here, you have like the masses of people that are trying to get rich quick.
mhm,
And when they fail, they have no one else to blame and be like, it's these ICOs, I read about this, and who's allowing this? Facebook's allowing it, Google, it's their fault. And they lost a bunch of money and now they're looking for, revenge, like, oh, it's not my fault, it's because of them. And
Right.
with traditional stocks, you don't really have that. You don't have masses of people following, not knowing what they're doing. So I
Mhm.
think it's the fact that there's also so many young people, so many, I don't want to say uneducated, but people who don't really know what they're buying into,
Mhm.
that
Mm.
are buying into a lot of these and complaining.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
interesting
shit.
to see that, I mean, it says this update will go into effect in June 2018, and that Google took down more than 3.2 billion ads in 2017 that violate its policies, which doubled the 1.7 billion removed the year before. And Google makes 84% of its total revenue from ads, which is in a way like I feel like yeah, banning cryptocurrency and blockchain related things will for sure hurt their business, but I think they're taking a page out of the shit that Facebook's getting with its
Mhm.
whole like, his the fake news and all that stuff of politics, and
Mhm.
I think in a way it sounds like they're just making sure that they're in the green, but the kind of somewhat rebellious and conspiracy theorist side of me is like, what if all the FANG companies are working together, right? FUD after FUD after FUD after FUD, and then they're just, buying the dip.
I
Right.
mean,
And they
look
could
at
do that.
Twitter.
Yeah. All
The-
right.
the-
We'll wrap this up. Next one is
Yeah.
Twitter, which they're also banning ads, but they're not starting on June 2018. They're starting tomorrow.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Twitter will begin blocking cryptocurrency related ads tomorrow. The company confirmed in a statement to The Verge, and the move follows other social media platforms like Reddit, Facebook, Google. Official statement: we are committed to ensuring the safety of the Twitter community. As such, we have added a new policy for Twitter ads related to cryptocurrency. Under this new policy, the ad of ICOs and token sales will be prohibited. So they're not banning wallet and TA, they're just banning
Right.
ICOs.
Which makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine. What's interesting is I didn't know Reddit blocked it in 2016.
I feel like, yeah, I'm pretty
Cool.
sure I saw a lot of ICOs on Reddit, like recently.
Mm,
Um, well,
actually,
but Reddit is also like it's an open forum of sub communities that have moderators, and it's like
right.
up to the moderators' best judgment to say what is allowed and what's not allowed.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I never knew that. I didn't know Reddit took a stance, 2 years ago. And
Yeah.
2 years
I
ago, that
mean,
was when no one, I mean, crypto wasn't blowing up then. So that's
Right.
fine.
yeah, it was probably a lot of shill accounts. And then it's the same thing with Twitter, how there's a lot of scam accounts. People pretend to
Oh yeah,
be
dude.
Vitalik, oh, send me zero point 0.1 ETH, get 1 ETH back or something.
Dude,
And
Oh, that's
then
a good deal.
it's
it's
That's a good
yeah,
insane
it's
deal.
because
that's a
if you look
10
at the
times value.
addresses, dude, like they get, oh my God, like some people are so dumb. And like those
And
accounts get
yeah,
like 50F. Like, just makes you
and it's
sick.
crazy because people are falling for these scams, and it's one of those things where their Twitter hashtag looks so similar that
Yeah.
it's like, oh hey, this must be true.
Yep.
And it's crazy because even with ICO buying process back
Hmm.
then, Enigma got hacked, and
Hmm.
then their email account, the actual one, was sending out, hey, we're having a pre-sale,
Hmm.
send your ETH to this contract, and then you'll get it. So then how is Twitter, Google, Facebook gonna solve this problem of getting people's identities stolen and then saying, "Hey, give us their money"?
I mean that's where the verified check mark comes in, right? But
Mm,
then you just have people that
But you
you
only
know
get, well, yeah, so I think initially people just made accounts and whatnot, but now people are buying big following verified accounts just so that they
mm,
have that check mark so it looks legit. Like
right.
there's marketplaces where people buy huge following accounts and whatnot, and like I could see like a scammer be like, okay, well, like if people think like this blue check mark makes me look legit, and more often than not it does. Like I mean I work at a live broadcasting startup, and like people freak out about like, oh, like I want the check mark, when like
mm,
it really doesn't do much. But if you have something that distinguishes your account from other people's account that has a certain status or merit, like it gives you so much more like stance and reputation, and people think, oh, this is actually a legit account, and yeah, it's nutty.
Yeah.
Got that
Sad.
clout.
But it's weird because I feel like to me, like out of all the social networks, Facebook, Google, or Facebook, Google's not a fucking social network. Instagram, Twitter, um, Reddit, like I've seen way more crazy shit on Twitter than any of those other accounts. Like you could see fucking gruesome ass pictures on Twitter. You could
Oh yeah.
also see like full blown nudity on Twitter. Like they have its own
Twitter's no
subsection for that.
filter. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
and it's like I thought it was like supposed to be like hella open, but like
Yeah.
the fact that they're banning ICOs, and it's weird because they're addressing the ICO aspect of cryptocurrency, which yeah has monetary value. Like there could be some scams. They're not even addressing like hate speech, racism,
Hmm.
like all that. I don't know. It just seems like they have they have bigger fish to fry, but they're
They're
just kind of
intentionally targeting crypto.
right, which is
Yeah.
I don't know. That kind of doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how the market's gonna react tomorrow after Twitter bans things.
Yeah,
Well,
I think it should be fine. I mean, well, the advertisements for ICOs shouldn't directly impact the ETH market, right? Or the cryptocurrency market.
well, the first to
I
set the
mean,
stage was
yeah.
Facebook,
Right.
and then
Mhm.
then it was Google, and Twitter. Like, I mean, a lot of other social networks could start following. Like, I mean, if going back, Google says they're cracking down on cryptocurrency related advertising. Is that just on Google search? Like, are they gonna ban that across YouTube? Or
Mhm.
is Facebook gonna start banning stuff on Instagram? Like
Right.
all these little subsidiaries within their social networks. Like we don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
All of a
but
sudden, you can't use certain hashtags.
right, right. And then next is like, oh, Amazon bans and stops selling crypto
The-
related books and
Books.
yeah, like or
you,
it's
you can't buy third-party ledgers.
yeah, you can't buy it. Actually, they could do that because
Which is good because a lot of people are getting their money stolen that way too.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know if you guys know much about like hardware security, but there's this one famous project in like the white hat community of how like they give USBs out at like career fairs. Like,
Hmm.
oh
Mhm.
yeah, like thanks for stopping by. Here's a 2 GB USB. Like it is actually so easy to wire that USB with a Trojan and a keylogger, and these kids are like, oh sick, a free USB. Like
That's so
there's
true.
like there's experience where people just throw 1,000 USBs in a library. People take them, of course, and now you have 1,000 compromised
Trojans
PCs,
just
which is
sitting around.
actually like insane. um,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll
I
see
mean,
what's
with
next.
all this FUD, it kind of lines up with this whole Bitcoin death cross thing, yeah?
Yeah, so the last article is the Bitcoin's death cross. So
uh,
this is pretty much the chart where the Bitcoin death cross, I think the 50 MA crosses the 200 MA.
the 50
So,
day to 200
yeah.
I
day.
was reading somewhere else where they were talking about the 100 day.
Or is it 100? Hold on. Okay, so
I'm not sure anymore.
this is a okay, sorry. This is the article I meant. So, trading the golden cross, does it really work? The golden cross, a moving average takes the closing price of a stock of the previous days over 50 days and
50 and
divides it by the
200.
same number 50 to divide by the average. As each day
Mm-hmm.
passes entire data set, that's what's the moving average. Yep. On a stock, the golden cross occurs at the 50-day MA and rises sharply, crosses over 200-day. This is bullish. But if it goes on the other way around, it is called a death cross. Um, so that is, a fundamentally respected signal, and right now it is not looking good. So let's go to like
Yeah.
GDAX,
It actually sides more with a bearish market for a
right?
death cross.
Mm.
Currently, we're
Yeah.
at 1 day overlay, or we don't have charting stuff here, but um, it was like right here. Now it's like, wah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this? Do you guys think the death, or do you guys? Let me go back. Do you which trading fundamentals do you think applies to crypto? And do you think this death or golden cross should be respected?
You could go first, John. I have a lot to say about this.
Hell, I mean, with crypto, I don't with technical analysis and crypto, people always argue that crypto is too fast moving. There's too many other variables that you can't necessarily apply perfect TA
Hmm.
to it. But what I think in the article it said further down, it says something about losing long term support. Um, I'm not sure if I mean, to be honest, it could just be like a generic bear market. I don't know too much about TA. I don't know too much about this golden and death cross.
Hmm.
But to me, so this is the Bitcoin death cross, right? I'm assuming
Yeah.
all cryptocurrencies are also trailing the same death cross because
Yep.
we're all doing the same thing. I think that, fundamentally, nothing about the blockchain has changed.
Hmm.
So, even if we're going bearish or, if it keeps dropping, there should be no reason why it keeps dropping. It's just, regular people pulling out. I don't know. I'm still long term crypto.
Hmm. Yeah.
So wait,
Personally, for
hold on. Before we go to that, we actually broke under 7800 support. So I it's probably up to
Next support's at
72,
what?
72-ish.
Maybe 7K?
Think you go
7K?
6K.
well,
6K support?
they're saying that if we do retrace, we're gonna go down to 6,000.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
Mm,
big chunk
Hmm.
right here.
Yeah, and then so I personally think that this death cross needs to happen if Bitcoin ever wants to, not once, but Bitcoin needs to lose its number one position.
Hmm.
And then it could wait, hold on. Let me rephrase that because Bitcoin could still remain number one, but it
Hmm.
needs to lose a lot of its market cap because Ethereum and all these other coins are being hit harder than Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin is the quote unquote leader.
Hmm.
If it drops 7%, everything else will drop 10%. But if Ethereum were to ever overcome Bitcoin in the future, this is the way that's going to happen because Ethereum's at what 460 right now ish, and
Currently
then
at 452.
452. And so back in the day, it was what August or something that it was just floating around 300 for the longest time. So
True.
I feel like Ethereum has set its support at 300, whereas Bitcoin, had its crazy rise from 1800 all the way up to 10,000 and then to 20,000,
Hmm.
whereas everything kind of lags behind.
Yep.
So I feel like Bitcoin does need to fall so that everything else could stabilize with it and then eventually go back up.
mm.
Do you think the ratio still holds? Like we always talk about, 1 ETH should be 0.08 BTC, and right now that's clearly not the case. I mean, like you're saying how Bitcoin needs to get hit and because it has exploded from, 1200 to 19K and back down, and now it's like retracing and for this Bitcoin or for this death cross to happen. But do you think that this is required for the flippening, or do you think this is just required for people to understand that run was just unprecedented and was probably due to the masses of just buying on Coinbase or whatever and just hopping on the BTC train while others kind of hopped on the LTC F train, but
Mhm.
that I mean that didn't have as much growth as BTC.
I feel like this is the market finding support because, like you said, there's this huge trains
Right,
of
'cause you're here.
normal investors who don't even know what Bitcoin is or how it works. They just is they heard their coworker Bob talk about it at the water cooler, like, "Yo, there's this new coin that you need to check out," and all of a sudden, everyday Joes are throwing $500 to
Yep.
even $5,000 at this thing without even knowing what it is, and then so now it's just trying to find that support of all right, is cryptocurrencies legitimate?
Hmm.
And blockchain technology is. So we're just trying to find, right, where does Bitcoin lie in this market? And then so I'm actually looking at the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio right now, and it's looking. So I'm on TradingView,
Okay.
so that you could zoom out better. But
Yeah, I can't
yeah,
zoom out here.
so we're definitely near one of the lowest times it's been recently. Maybe back when Ethereum first started, that's when it's been pretty low. But let's see, if we go to the 1 year, yeah, we're really, really low right now.
It's probably at like 0.6, 456 divided by 6.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
that's
saying though,
5.8. That's nuts.
I'm seeing a pretty good depth chart in the ratio, and it looks like people are not wanting for it to go down more than it is already.
You're talking about Bitcoin?
Ethereum to Bitcoin, yeah.
Ethereum, Bitcoin.
I mean, it's great to go BTC to ETH right now, but
Yeah.
GDAX no longer supports that, so rip.
Oh, does
Um,
it?
no, it does. It does. You have to go to USD.
Y-
You used to be
And
able to go
then
from BTC to ETH to
to
LTCs, so you could
now
play
you have to
the
go to,
ratios, but
yeah,
you have to log it as a USD, which I'm sure they had to, or they wanted
every
to
time.
implement that because
Mm.
they work closely with our regulators. Um, but you could go BTC to Bitcoin Cash, which funny thing is, KuCoin
Wait,
listed.
can't you do ETH to BTC right now?
You could do it
You
ETH to
could go that way,
BTC, but you
right?
can't
You can't go the
do
other way around.
BTC to ETH,
Yeah, yeah,
which is an interesting thing.
yeah.
Uh,
What do you guys think
Hey,
about trading bots? Like, I know like there are certain marketplaces within traditional stock world where it's high volume trading where they allow APIs and whatnot. But I mean, like TD Ameritrade, like standard investing options, you're just putting in a position and you're getting, you're looking at updates here and there. Do you think TA still has a place in crypto, or do you think the rise of these marketplaces that have open APIs like Binance and GDAX and Kraken, how do you guys feel about the volume of people who use TA versus the, the volume of people who use bots?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but technical analysis is just based off, patterns and essentially like human psychology, right? How do people react to certain
mhm.
things, right? But I think the cryptocurrency market is a little bit more irrational than the traditional markets,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you have so many extra variables that aren't normally present in traditional markets.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you have the massive amounts of the general population who probably aren't trading as actively in the stock market as they are in crypto.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if TA can be applied perfectly to cryptocurrency situations.
I
What do you think,
actually
Willis?
I actually feel like TA is very strong in crypto just because there's so many beginner TA, people who are trying to do technical analysis that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. At the same time, you have to really pay attention to the news, and like you said, it's very irrational. So you could follow with TA to a point where it's like, all right, Bitcoin gets banned from China, and now the entire crypto market goes to shit. Well, your TA is not gonna expect that, but for your everyday trading, I feel like TA has been pretty strong, and if
Mm-hmm.
you're good at it, you would have been pretty profitable. But at the same time, when the market is irrational like it is right now, and there's a lot of FUD, it's pretty hard to do TA.
I mean, because also certain markets are lower volume, right? For
Mm-hmm.
example, if I'm trading, maybe like a token with, only a couple million in volume, I could technically completely script the TA. If I want, I could manipulate it like the Binance market, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We could, sell a bunch and drop the price and, suddenly cause a crash. So that I don't know. It's just because small volume and, it's hard to because you have a lot of different markets, right? It's not just you have the
Mm-hmm.
New York Stock Exchange. You have, Binance, GDAX. Each market has smaller
BitMEX,
volumes,
yeah.
which is why TA can't be applied to some of those markets.
Yeah, I think in that sense, pump and dump groups, you really take advantage of those low cap market
That's all they target, the low
tokens.
cap
Yeah,
tokens, yeah.
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 So then, these well groups are getting together saying, hey, we're gonna buy this, and then all of a sudden we're gonna be like, yo, buy this thing. They're gonna shill it, and then they're gonna unload their bags onto new investors who are buying after the pump.
Hmm.
And then I think that's what Google, Facebook, and Twitter are trying to prevent and protect citizens from. Is like pump and dump is illegal in the stock world, but because crypto is still in the wild wild west, the SEC is finally starting to take action against these pump groups,
Mm-hmm.
and we're seeing the FBI going after the people of BitConnect. Some of them going after very large pump and dump groups, and then so we're starting to see regulation, and I think that is important for the crypto world.
PND, it's crazy because, I mean, if you literally go on Discord or Telegram, you could find hundreds of pump and dump channels. Of course, there are some that's more popular than others, but you could literally join every single one and look at what they're pumping. And it's funny because people think pump and dump groups like they're making money, which maybe you are, but like how it operates is that you have, a core group of people who load up on a certain low volume token
Mm-hmm.
in lieu of the pump, and then they shill to their tens of thousands of followers like, yo, we're gonna pump this at noon. And then of course like everyone else invests in it maybe 2-3x the price that the original people who created the pump and dump group pump it. And then they pump it and then everyone unloads their bags after an hour or something. It's, yeah. I
Yeah.
If anything, I could see like Discord taking a stance. Telegram, I don't know what their values are, but like there are some groups out there that is pretty hardcore about these PNDs, and yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of
And
does fall into place with Google, Reddit, Facebook, Twitter bans, and
yeah,
I, I,
and
I
we kind of saw Reddit take action when VeChain, the developers themselves, were telling the community members, "Hey, chill our coin on other subreddits," and then Reddit ended up banning VeChain for the whole month of February, and actually wasn't until the first week of March that we saw like a 30% drop.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Was it actual developers or was it the moderators? Because that's two different
I'm
things.
reading that the team members indicated VeChain had been directly
Mm,
directing the community members to upvote certain posts and shield their
yeah, guilty
coin
by
essentially.
collaboration. That's bad.
Yeah.
RIP.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is a needless to say, I think it's a very interesting time. I mean, we are going into April, and the past 3 months have felt like a long winter for crypto. But there are some glimpses of, you know, a bull market here and there, especially with alts. I think like the past 3 days, a lot of alts pumped up like 17%.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Tron 50.
Tron 50. There's the other, I
Top
think
50?
Zill hit, or what was the one that hit 200% yesterday?
Freaking Storm.
Yeah, Storm. Like, I don't know. So it's weird because usually we always see whenever, so like when like last year, whenever we saw Bitcoin or ETH running, alts ran with it. Whenever Bitcoin, ETH, or Litecoin tanked, we saw alts tank with that. But
Mm-hmm.
now I think we've seen over the past few weeks, like, oh yeah, Bitcoin tanks, alts tank until like, oh hey, random. And these are like high volume alts too, like, oh, they're releasing mainnet, or oh, coin burn, oh, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're starting to see more behavior of like, hey, these alts can operate on its own, and they have its own, habit and behavior within the market. It doesn't always have to tie to Bitcoin and ETH. So I'm
Like
glad that
slowly
we're seeing more of
decoupling,
that.
right?
Yeah,
Decoupling away from Bitcoin.
right,
That's what all cryptocurrencies move towards, right?
right,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right. It'll be interesting to see because I mean, April is only today's the 26th, so we have like 5 more days left in March. Tons of projects are releasing mainnet, coin burn, everyone has pretty ambitious roadmaps for 2018. So it'll be
Mm.
interesting to see which projects follow through and capitalize on this. I mean, we know a couple of coins that have their mainnet launch in Q1. South by Southwest happened. We just published an article about, oracles and its place. And I recently
And
went
how
to
smart
GDC.
contracts.
Yeah, and smart contracts. I went to GDC. I saw a bunch of gaming tokens there. Um, I think 2018, even though it started off as a weird 3 month kind of market adjustment slash all these big tech companies addressing the news, but I mean, I think once the dust settles, it'll be a pretty explosive year and a much more
So,
green year, in fact.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
hopefully, right?
Hopefully.
I have a question for you guys then. Do you
Okay.
think the hype for cryptocurrencies is gone?
I
Mm,
think it's definitely died down from that initial, 20K Bitcoin. We're going to 100K.
To
Rumors
a
are,
million.
what
All
if
right.
Bitcoin hits a
Come off my
million?
nuts.
There's
yeah.
that time where I'm like standing in line at
McAfee.
like the grocery store, and I hear people behind me talking like, "Man, if each Bitcoin just hits 2 million, I'll be this rich." And I'm just thinking like, "God, come on, it's not gonna hit 2 million." But I think it's definitely like weeding out the normies.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. That's fine. We need
Mhm.
some
Yeah.
market correction.
I am all for burning people who can't have the brain capacity to invest without emotion and technicals. I mean,
Without doing a little research at
right.
least.
I mean,
At least know what you're buying.
Right.
honestly, in November to December, there are some projects that we rode that exploded, 5, 10, 20 Xers. And we're like, it was to the point where it was actually getting insane. Like, I was losing sleep because I would look at Blockfolio and I'm like pulling down my screen. Oh, I just went up, like whatever amount, and then I'm like, dude, like I can't. This doesn't make sense. And then
It's not sustainable.
right, and of course, like you have other people catch on, like, oh damn, like I just saw this coin on Reddit. I heard it's hella lit. Like, let me get in on that. And then they get dumped on in January, and I'm like, dude, okay, well that's on you, dude. Um,
Yeah.
I think like John said, I think it's good that I mean this is gonna happen
Mhm.
anytime. Just like the stock market, like like the recent Facebook data breach, that happened. Their stocks tanked 10%. Like honestly, to us, whoop de fucking do. 10%'s nothing, but
Fucking
I
every
mean,
day.
yeah, yeah, it's like every other
Hey, it's like
hour, dude.
20%.
Yeah, I'm like, yo,
uh,
tell me when my portfolio gets dumped like 90%, then I'll be
yeah, then,
upset.
then I'll panic a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, let's start at 70, guys.
yeah, yeah. 70 is pretty good, but like, I mean, that doesn't phase us, and I think I mean, we've been actively in it for since the beginning of last year. So we've seen the bull runs, we've seen the bear runs, like F from 2 to 420, back to 180, back to 640 to 1400, now back down to 460. Like it's a wild time, and I think it's a good reality check for people to be like, hey, like this shit is pretty wild, you know. It's like
heed the
almost
warnings.
heed
The
the
warnings are
warnings.
true.
Right. So,
Yeah, I think we're gonna go sideways, like how we did back, when it was at 42, and back when it was 80, and then 300 definitely was a time where we were like, what the hell? Why is everything moving but Ethereum?
yeah.
And I feel like we're gonna see that again as Bitcoin drops.
Mhm.
A lot of
You think we're going to
alts.
see that as Ethereum? Or is it
I
like
think we're gonna
possible?
see that with Ethereum, and a lot of alts is like, all right, everything is gonna start to, you know, decouple from Bitcoin and stabilize its price
Mhm.
until Bitcoin finds its floor. Then that's when everything will rise together.
Mhm.
Hmm. And I think maybe around 420. That's my guess of stabilization.
420 blaze it. Yeah,
420.
I
Hey, get
think
lit.
I think 400. I mean, that's honestly what right now we're at what 480. That's like last year's. I mean, we're at the prices of like November. Like
Yeah,
back to where we started in November. That's for F at least.
yeah.
Like that's
And the reason why I'm saying 420 is because that was all-time high, and the resistance it took so long to break,
Right.
and now that resistance is going to become support. But that's just TA. What the hell does crypto know of TA?
Right.
It just breaks everything.
Well, it looks like, I mean, support right now looks like it's at 4. So that's,
Yeah.
How much is that for? Let me see.
there's about 28,000, 29,000, which is total
12
12 million.
million. Yeah.
It's insane. Like,
Uh,
if I had $15 million laying around, I would love to obliterate the
Blow
market.
that.
Like, just cause a tank.
market sell.
Yeah, all in market sell, get tanked, get like blasted by the fees. 7% of my 15 million. That's a lot of money. But I mean, it'll be
Hey, you
interesting to
gotta
see,
manipulate the
and
market.
it's concerning that we're seeing a lot more. I mean, we'll see FUD like, oh, China ban ICOs, oh, Korea stops cryptocurrency trading, blah blah. It's interesting now that we're starting to see big companies release FUD, but I
Mhm.
think once it all settles and people realize, they're freaking out of really nothing that, I mean, it's not as big as like, oh, our president says if you have cryptocurrency, like you're going to prison. Like
Jamie Dimon.
yeah, it's like okay, like yeah, that's outstanding. This is like, well, I mean, is it gonna stop people from trading? No. Is it gonna stop
Mhm.
people from, investing in it or going on Binance or other altcoins or, even like creating a wallet for themselves and whatnot? No. I mean, we're seeing like last November I went to Vegas and I saw at least 40 Bitcoin ATMs and
Mm.
little mom and pop shops of selling and buying BTC at a 10% premium. Like it's just starting to start, Korea's having ATM machines where you could, immediately put in bills and you get a wallet with, X coin in it. Like we're going to start seeing more and more of these slowly, daily life assimilation things. Um, just last week, my favorite cafe in Palo Alto started accepting Bitcoin. Like,
Mhm.
I think a lot of these projects realized that, they need to hunker down and land the partnerships and develop and engineer and build their solutions so they could have, real life use cases. Because whatever gets out in the market first or really disrupts the market, I think that's will really turn heads. People realize, hey, wow, I can actually see a real life example of why blockchain is making my life better or easier.
Right.
And I think that
Yeah.
will signal the next bull run. But until then, for at least for altcoins, there's you know a lot of projects need to just hunker down and deliver results. Ethereum, there's a bunch of stuff slated on the roadmap. Even Bitcoin has a Lightning network that was slated. There's some fun about that, but once
What
people
about
start
light
saying
pay now?
there's Light Pay, which we should probably cover in a future video, but um, I think whatever project gets out to market and disrupts that part of industry, I mean that's people start turning heads like, oh, this blockchain's here to stay. It's not just a risky investment. It actually has like practical uses for it.
Right. Right.
Cool.
Mm.
All right, it is 45 minutes now. 43. We talked about Google banning cryptocurrencies. We talked about Twitter banning ICO ads. And we talked about the death cross. All very interesting pieces of FUD that's come out in the past 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we'll close out this video, but do you guys have any closing remarks about crypto in general? Start with you, Willis. You looked a little intrigued. And
I just a lot of thoughts running in my head, but all
yeah,
I can say is hold, man.
hold.
We're all in this for long
Correct
term.
spelling. Correct spelling, not hodl.
Hodl.
Oh,
Hodl.
huddle.
No, we're holders. We're not
Yeah.
hodlers. Hodlers
We,
are the normies.
Mhm.
Everyone's hodling. We're holders. Back
Yeah.
to being
we
holders.
are actually holders, and we believe in blockchain technology. And it's exciting to see all these new, well, not new, but all these tokens that we are invested in finally
Mhm.
release their mainnets and finally achieving things that they have on their white paper.
Mhm.
And it's cool to see tech just evolving. And then this tech will only get better, which is why this bear market will only be a temporary thing.
Mhm.
And it's by the end of 2018, we're gonna see new all-time highs for sure.
Sounds good. What about you,
Yeah,
John?
Mhm.
I agree with Willis. I'm just excited to see more of the dApps come out. See a lot of these
Mhm.
projects actually. I could use them. And start disrupting actual industries. And when that happens, blockchain is just going to take over.
Yeah, I think the times we have right now, and I was talking to my dad about this a while back. Um, like when the dot-com bull run or whatever happened, like people were creating websites to disrupt shopping industries or travel agencies, like things that eventually became Shopify, Expedia, Amazon, Facebook,
Mhm.
Google, like all these really well robust products and platforms. And in the beginning, no one knew what the fuck they were gonna do. And as they baked and they showed they had a user base and people trusted them and believed in the technology, these eventually carved out to be huge disruptors in their own industries. I think cryptocurrency right now, no one has seen it really impact their lives. I'm like Facebook, it has changed the way I communicate with my friends and family. Like we're
Mhm.
using Google Voice. This shit 10 years ago would have been like redonkulous, but back
Right.
then we had 56K and like it probably wouldn't have worked. Um,
Or if we
but
order something from Amazon Prime, how
right.
that shit came out the
back then
drone.
back back then when they still sold books, but I think like especially with a lot of these coins, a lot of the ICOs happened last year, like a lot of these alt projects, and it's crazy because you're literally able to raise like multiple
Millions of
funding
dollars.
rounds,
Yeah.
millions of dollars out of just a token sale. And like I'm in the startup industry, and there's different vesting cycles. There's your pre-seed and then your Series A and C. These
Mhm.
projects are going from idea to Series B all in one go. And does that feel innovation? It does, because you're able to honestly raise a lot of money. You're able to hire a lot of talent with a singular focus to disrupt X industry. Um, the drawbacks is you're also prone to a lot of exit scams, and
Mhm.
cryptocurrency has seen that. But that's nothing new. I mean, the dot com, boom, there were definitely exit scams there too. So I feel like we're reliving 2007, 2008, and
And we're all
what
kind of taking a gamble of
right,
investing in the next Google, the next Amazon,
right,
and we're not going to see the fruits of all these cryptocurrencies
hmm
until 5, 10 years. But if we make the right bet right now,
yep.
you yeah, you
I,
just made the great gamble.
I think for cryptocurrency in general, it's I feel like with the power we hold right now, especially with like participating in ICOs and like investing in these projects early on, it's like yeah, you're kind of being like the modern day VC. Whereas right, to be a VC right now, I guess you would have to be in a firm, have multiple millions of dollars, billions, whatever, that back startups. But we're able to invest in these projects and kind of have that responsibility and stature and impact on these industries. And I don't know.
Hmm.
I think the power that we have right now, it's exciting, and for all these new technologies to come to market and to have that impact. I mean, no one knows how much of these will be successful. A lot of these will be failures, but for ones that take off, it could be the next Amazon, it could be the next Facebook, it could be the next Google. I mean, there's literally a blockchain project addressing every single market, and this is only year one. That's how
Yeah.
I see it. All right,
Right.
we're gonna wrap this video up. It is 49 minutes. It was a pleasure talking to you guys about this. If you guys like this video, make sure to give us a like and subscribe. And just let us know in the comments what you guys think of the cryptocurrency market as of now, March 26th. When did you guys start investing in cryptocurrency? When did you guys hear about it? And what do you look forward to?
Hmm.
Thank you, John and Willis, for your time. As always, we are the Blockchain Musketeers. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Steam it. We are all those. They will all be in the bio over there. All right. My name is John. We
My name is
also
Willis.
John.
And we are the Blockchain Musketeers signing off. All right,
All
thanks
right.
guys. We'll catch
See
you
you
guys
guys.
later.
Peace out, guys.